My name is Brian Hayes. I'm the creative director on EA Sports UFC 3. Career mode on UFC 3 is drastically different than career mode on either of the previous two UFC games. We looked at player feedback from the previous game and from in-game telemetry, and we realized that a lot of players really like to play career mode, and a lot of players wanted a lot more out of a career mode experience. So we invested heavily in trying to bring a lot more variety, a lot more player choice, and a lot more of the world of the UFC to life inside career mode. So there's a bunch of things that are brand new to career mode this year. The whole notion of your performance leading to the quality of your UFC contract and earning fight cash, and then using that cash to finance your training camps. And there's a variety of MMA gyms that have a roster of UFC fighters that you can train against and upgrade your moves, as well as the idea of promoting your upcoming fights, increasing your popularity, trying to drive fight hype and become a more popular UFC fighter, all with the goal in mind of trying to become the greatest of all time. We set up some clear objectives for you down the road in your career to say, like, if you accomplish this and this, you're going to become the GOAT. And that's when you know you've beaten the game, and you can say, like, hey, I'm the GOAT, so I can put the controller down now and go play something else. Or if you become GOAT in career mode, you unlock legendary difficulty, so you can try becoming GOAT on legendary. But I think that's gonna be pretty tough. GOAT means greatest of all time. It's a pretty might be kind of an inside, well, baseball, but inside fighting term. But basically, a lot of fighters, or a lot of people these days, like to have conversations like, who do they think the GOAT is, or they might say, who's the GOAT, the greatest of all time lightweight. But we're really talking about, like, hey, we do the right things in the EA Sports UFC 3 career mode, and you're considered the greatest of all time in that career mode. We've set that up to be breaking actually real world UFC records. So whether it be breaking the record for most submissions, or most finishes, or most knockouts, or most consecutive title defenses, as well as promotional oriented objectives like breaking the record for pay-per-view buys in a fight in which you're the main event, or the record for number of pay-per-view main event appearances. These are all things. There's a collection of performance records you can break and promotion records you can break, and you have to surpass a minimum number of each in order to become the GOAT. The decision to integrate social media into the experience was kind of a no-brainer. As a UFC fan, and as UFC fans ourselves, like on the team, the UFC itself is has embraced social media so much. The fighters, call each other out and talk trash to each other on social media. The UFC promotes heavily on social media, so it just made sense to sort of bring that element of promotion to life in the game as well, because as a MMA fan, as a UFC fan, that's how how you end up consuming a lot of the real world content. So bringing that to life in the game just made perfect sense. Career mode, the training camp system has been completely overhauled as well. You're using your fight purse to finance your training camps, and they can be of different durations, anywhere from I think 1 week if it's a short notice fight, up to 6 weeks, and then every single week you have a number of weekly points, which is basically a representation of the time you have available, right? And you can either spend that time training to improve your fighter attributes, learning, which are mini game challenges against the roster of fighters at your gym to unlock new moves or unlock higher levels of your existing moves. Or you can spend that time promoting, which would be increasing your popularity, gaining followers, or increasing the fight hype for the upcoming fight. Or you can spend that time doing sparring, which is you fight against a generic training partner, but we give that partner the attributes and the AI of your upcoming opponent. You get to sort of taste test that for 1 minute, and then at the end of the sparring session, we'll also give you a specific key to victory that might help you be more successful in that upcoming fight. So there's a lot of decisions to make week to week in training camp, whether or not you're trying to improve your fighter, or whether or not you're trying to improve his sort of profile. And you have to do both if you want to become the greatest of all time, essentially.